Hi, I'm Annapolis Mayor Josh Cohen with your weekly video update for Tuesday, May 25th, 2010. And in this week's update, I want to share with you 4 announcements. The Memorial Day Parade, the basketball court at Annapolis Gardens and Belmond Court, Germantown Elementary School, and a budget update. And starting with the Memorial Day Parade, this year Memorial Day is this coming Monday, May 31st. There's going to be a parade starting at 10 o'clock that's going to start at the intersection of West Street and Amos Garrett Boulevard. It's going to head down West Street towards Church Circle, then around and down Main Street to City Dock. I want to invite all Annapolitans to come out to cheer on the veterans who are marching and to honor our fellow Americans who've paid the ultimate sacrifice serving in the armed forces. Following the parade, the Fleet Reserve Club is hosting a wreath-laying ceremony, and I also want to invite all Annapolitans to come out and pay their respects during that ceremony. I'm very honored that my former colleague, Dave Cordell, former alderman, former lieutenant colonel in the Army Reserves, will be the Grand Marshal of the Memorial Day Parade. The second update is about the basketball court at the Annapolis Gardens and Belmond Court community. This has been in the paper a lot in the last few days. The Landex Corporation, which is a private company contracted by the Housing Authority to manage and redevelop that community, has done an excellent job on renovating a number of the units, but a real bone of contention is the demolition of the existing full-court basketball court that's been on the corner of Admiral Drive and Kroll for decades and is a real community gathering place. The Landex Corporation is within their rights to demolish it. The plans that were approved last year by the prior City Council and Housing Authority Board called for removal of the basketball court. Just last week, Landex began demolition of the court, despite the fact that the Annapolis City Council voted unanimously, and whenever we vote unanimously on something, it's a rare enough occasion, but we voted unanimously to ask Landex to preserve the court, as did the Housing Authority Board of Commissioners just yesterday. So earlier today, a number of people met on site, including Speaker of the House of Delegates Mike Bush, Alderpersons Classy Hoyle, Kenny Kirby, and Ross Arnett, and a number of stakeholders both from city government, state government, housing authority, and the community. It was a very productive meeting, and what has come out of that meeting is that there is a renewed commitment on the part of Landex to work with the community and work with the city to explore how we can preserve a full basketball court in that community. Tom Smith from the City Department of Planning and Zoning is going to be working closely with Landex's architect over the next several days to come up with some options that are workable in terms of the development, also in terms of the management standpoint, in terms of the recreational activities. Leanne Plummer from City Rec and Parks, LaRon Fisher from the Housing Authority, as well as Landex staff are going to be working together to look at the supervision and recreation piece. So this is happening very quickly, but there's tremendous support in the community to keep the basketball court, and I'm 100% behind that. It's a tremendous, not just recreational resource, but community resource for the Annapolis Gardens and Belmond Court community. Third update is some positive news. Earlier this morning, I had the pleasure of participating in the ceremonial groundbreaking for the new Germantown Elementary School, which is going to be located right behind the current Germantown at the north end of the athletic complex fronting on Wendell Avenue. It's really neat because I did not know this, but the Phoenix Center at the southwestern end was the original Germantown Elementary. So all within one site, we have the original Germantown, the current Germantown, and we will have the new Germantown, really reflecting the growth of Annapolis. And each one of the schools educated a different generation, and they're all located in the same site. So there's over $33 million committed to this new Germantown. It's going to be a beautiful facility. I want to thank the County Council and County Executive for keeping the funding in the budget. I also especially want to thank our state representatives, Speaker of the House Mike Bush, Senator John Astle, Delegate Virginia Claggett, and Delegate Ron George. Without their assistance, in particular the Speaker of the House, we would not have had that groundbreaking this morning. And finally, a brief update on the budget. The target date for the City Council to vote on the budget is still Monday, June 7th. We still have several $1,000,000 worth of deficit to close. The figure is a little over $4 million, and that is my goal, to have a balanced budget for fiscal year 11 in which our overall annual expenses are brought into alignment with our revenues. But in addition, we need to make sure we have the cash flow, the cash on hand, to pay our payroll every 2 weeks, our expenses every month, in addition to making sure our 12 months worth of expenses are in alignment with the revenues. And to accomplish both of those without raising the property tax rate. I've already proposed more than $7 million of cuts. It's getting harder and harder to find cuts because we're at the point where cuts equals cuts in services. But the closer we get to June 7th, the more convinced I am that we can close that budget deficit without raising the property tax rate. Over the next several days, I'm going to be meeting with alderpersons individually, exploring different options before I present my proposed budget amendment to close that deficit next week. And then, like I said, the vote is still scheduled for June 7th. So those are the updates. The Memorial Day Parade is Monday, May 31st at 10 a.m. The Annapolis Gardens and Belmond Court basketball court is still, the fate of it is still uncertain, but there's a renewed commitment, and I'm more confident than I was just a few hours ago that we will be able to find a way to preserve a full basketball court in that community. Germantown Elementary School had a groundbreaking this morning, and it is targeted to open in fall of 2011. So not this coming school year, but the very next school year, it is scheduled to open, and budget deliberations remain ongoing, and the vote is still scheduled for June 7th. That's the update for this week. As always, you can reach me at 410-263-7997. You can send an email to mayor@annapolis.gov, and you can visit my blog, mayorcohen.com, and leave a comment. Thank you for watching.